Welcome, welcome, welcome to season 3. That's 1, 2, 3. A Mom Knows Ball. I can't believe it. Can you believe it? And they said we never last. I'm Melinda King. A lot of people call me Mom. I got a special guest. I'm going to introduce him. Then I'm going to let him tell you everything he wants to tell you about his life and his adventures. So Stan Gay and I. Hey, Stan.
What's up, Melinda? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. He and I went to school at the University of Alabama together.
Don't tell our age.
I know. I'm not gonna. It was just a couple years ago. You know, you can tell we just graduated, and so we're gonna talk to Stan today about how he made the decision to walk on to the football team at the University of Alabama. And as a result of that decision, he was a starter for 2 years. He earned 3 varsity letters. He went on to play for the Atlanta Falcons. He had like over a 30-year career of leading teams. And he decided to write a book about kind of the ups and downs of his personal and his professional life. And he really wants us to understand that this was a journey that he was on and that we're all kind of on a journey for him to be the man that he was destined to be. So again, welcome to the Mom Knows Ball family, Stan Gay.
Thank you so much. What an introduction. And I'm so happy to be here. I hadn't seen Melinda in years. I mean, it's probably been, 35, 40 years since we've actually.
I think I remember seeing you once since we
Yes,
graduated. But again, we didn't graduate 35 years ago,
I
Stan.
know. I know. So it's
Yeah.
been like 20. It's been a while since
Yeah.
I've seen you. That's what I mean. I don't know
Yes,
where I
that's
saw
what you
you, but
meant.
it's been a while since I've seen you. It's just the point is, it's been a long time, right? That's
It's
the
been a
point.
minute.
It's been a long time.
Yes.
But I'm
Yeah.
happy to be here and share some of my thoughts with the book. If people don't know about it, I do have a book and it's called They Didn't See Me Coming. I don't know if you got your copy yet. There you go. She's got her copy. So that's the name of the book. It's on Amazon right now. So feel free to go to Amazon and type in the title. It should come right up. I think I'm becoming one of their top sellers right now. So I'm happy to hear that. You know, people around the country are really buying this book and they're buying it for the framework that I have in. It's just not my story. It's the framework that I put in the book about, emotional durability, dealing with loss, dealing with pressure. How do you deal with those type of things in your life? So it's really a memoir of my life, but it's also a leadership guide, right? A leadership guide, quasi mental health type deal for men, mostly for men, right? But it all applies for women too.
That is so important because
Hmm.
life is always lifing, and we're
Hmm.
always trying to look for tools to help us balance what's going on. It's
Hmm.
interesting. Let me set the framework for the day and then we'll start chatting because I'll just
Got it.
start chatting right away. So we're going to talk about your journey. We're going to talk about a little bit about your background, how you use kind of football and walking on to the University of Alabama as kind of a guide for managing other things in life. But we're sports people, so we got to talk a little bit about college football. I'm going to get your
Yes.
insights into kind of the state of college football because it's so different than when you were in school.
Absolutely. I wish I was in school now, to
I
be
know
honest with
you
you.
might
I
be
mean,
like
come
rich
on.
in
Yeah,
as a
exactly.
college athlete. So and then we'll talk a little bit about Alabama football because we're both Alabama graduates
Hmm.
and anything else that you want to talk about. One of the things that I found so interesting in the book was, how vulnerable you were about your background and your
Hmm.
upcoming. And I think about as we walk across the campuses of the University of Alabama and we would see students, we never knew their story, right? We just
Yeah.
saw students carrying books or doing whatever they were doing or dancing at the party barn or at the Kappa house.
The Kappa House. Okay, I feel you.
And there was so much of your story that was my story and so many others as well. I
Yeah.
came from a big family. We talk about our fathers. There was a lot of similarities. So really thank
Wow.
you for sharing that, because
Yes.
you just never know. So what prompted you to even write the book, to put all your thoughts and your experiences down and to share it
Okay.
with others?
That's a good question. A lot of people ask me that question. Earlier on, when I first left college, I had real writers, like reporters, come to me and say, I want to tell your story because I know your story, how you got to University of Alabama. And I was young. That's when I first left college after I played with the Falcons. People were coming out, you got a story I want to write. I'm like, no, I just hadn't done anything in my life yet to really write a book, right? It's like, okay, yeah, I played for the University of Alabama, I played for, but that's just football. What about the other things? I didn't have enough information to do that. Now that I'm in these, my, what I call my senior years, don't say that too loud. I think I have a lot to offer, right? I have a lot of experience, and I want to share that experience with people who may be going through some of the similar things that I went through. And so I just decided, you know what? I've got knowledge here. I've got experience. I walked through this fire. I've been there. I know there are a lot of men, especially men out there, that have gone through what I've gone through, but we walk in silence. Men tend to walk in silence, right? They tend to make things it's inward with them. They don't take it external. And I thought to myself, well, I know I'm a talker. I'm a communicator. I've majored in psychology. I'm the kind of guy, look, I had it great. I had a great life, still have a great life, but some things change. God changes your plans. And if you don't accept that as a man, then what are you doing? So yeah, some things are great, some things are not great. But to share that with people, I think would be I always, someone told me this once, say you have a right not to want to talk to people, not to want to do different things, not to want to be on social media, but you don't have a right to withhold your story.
Mm,
Your
mm.
story can help other people. And I'm not saying that said it, but I heard that somewhere and I'm like, you're right. My story probably can help other people. So why am I hogging my story just to myself, right? I need to share that story with the masses so that they can hear it. And you don't know who you're going to touch. I don't know how many times I've been in rooms with people listening to motivational speeches, but this is not motivation. This is a mirror, what I wrote. This is, I don't want you
Right,
to get that confused. It may be inspirational to some people,
right.
but it really is a mirror. So when you read this book, you're going to like, especially guys, I've been there. I didn't know, I didn't have language for it, but that's what I feel. You've given me language for it. And I can remember being in rooms with people that I went to motivational speaking. This one guy, he was in a wheelchair. I can't think of his name. Years ago, I was at a sales meeting and he had a message that resonated with me. And it was, it's not what happens to you, it's what you do about it. That,
Mm.
it never left me. It
How you
never left
respond.
me. How do you respond to what happens to
Right,
you?
right.
That motivational speech never left me all these years. And I've got that speech in my probably late 20s.
Hmm.
And so when I think about how that affected me, I thought to myself, why am I not sharing my story with other people? It's a fascinating story. I'm not going to give it away because you need to buy the book to read it, but
Exactly. Right.
it's a fascinating story. But in a nutshell, to give you a quick synopsis is that I grew up in a small town, Tuskegee, Alabama. I grew up with 12 siblings. I grew up in a big household. We had 4 bedrooms, 2 parents. My mother was an angel. She was the soul of our family. She kept me grounded. My father was a smart man, intelligent man, small in stature, probably 5'7". I'm only 5'10", 5'11", but he was small in stature. But he had a drinking problem, and he didn't start drinking until he was like 38, right? And so he started drinking with 30, but he had 10 kids by the time he was 38, right? So in my mind, and he left up me when I was 9, our family when I was 9 years old. I talk about this in the book.
Hmm.
But as I got older, I started to understand his pain. You
Mm.
know, 10 kids in Tuskegee, not making a lot of money. He started drinking. That I could feel his pain just a little bit. So that was my background growing up, coming up in that type of environment, but it was a loving environment. We didn't have much. And if you want me to talk about why I went to Alabama, I can tell you that as well.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that because you basically made a decision to walk away from scholarships at other schools, smaller schools, to walk on to the University of Alabama. So, how did you make that decision?
That's everybody wants to know that, and I think I've talked about it. I talk about it in the book as to why I made that decision. But the real reason was I grew up in a very Tuskegee molded me into the person that I am. It's like in my book, I talk about, it's the first chapter, I talk about where the fire was born. So I want to tell you people how I got to where I am. It's in the book. But I was very competitive, and I had a nemesis in Tuskegee by the name of Alan Moore. I talk about it in the book. I wanted to beat this guy at everything: checkers, running, swimming, whatever it was. And I wanted to be good at it, right? So I'm like, okay. And he was just naturally gifted. He always had that talent in everything. God gave him a talent that was like, dude, if I had this talent, I would just be all over. But he didn't take care of that talent, right?
Mm.
So I ended up, he was my nemesis, and I started preparing to beat him all the time. So I became very competitive. I'm thinking, well, if I could beat him, and I know he's talented, I probably could play with other people. So I thought, I want to go play for the best. So this is what really drove me to Alabama, Melinda. I'm giving you an exclusive. I don't think I've told you.
Okay, the exclusive. We got it.
This is what really drove me to Alabama. Mel Moore from Alabama had called me to tell me that he wanted to come down and see me practice in high school from University of Alabama. He was a coach there. The Mel Moore Center. You heard the Mel
Yeah,
Moore Center.
yeah,
So that Mel
absolutely.
Moore came to see me,
Yeah.
right? So Mel Moore came to see me, and I thought, I must be good. And then Nebraska flew me to Nebraska.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm starting to feel myself. I'm
Right,
like,
right.
I must have some real talent. So they flew me to Nebraska, but I stepped off the plane in Nebraska and it was snow, just knee deep. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm never gonna come here to play. That Forget about it. But it
yeah.
gave me more confidence in I must have some talent, even though I'm coming from a school, Tuskegee Institute, where we didn't win. We were like, I think the best record we ever had was when I was a senior with 5-5. First
Mm,
time we ever beat a fourth ace team was Opelika when I was there. So
okay.
that type of environment, we were good in basketball, but we were not good at. We were like a homecoming team, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah,
what a
yeah. Yeah,
homecoming team
yeah,
is?
the team that you schedule
Yes.
so you can celebrate as
So you can
opposed to really
celebrate.
even
Yes.
focusing on the game.
So
Yes.
we were like a homecoming team that teams were scheduled to play us, but I was one of the better players on that team. So, and I said, you know what? I'm going to take my chances. I'm going to take my chance to go to Alabama and see if I can compete for a scholarship. And that's what I tell young people. Don't be afraid to bet on yourself. Be prepared to work and do the preparation so you can get to where you want to be, but don't be afraid to bet on yourself, right? But you got to do the work to get there. And I just felt like, you know what? I had done the work. I had confidence in my skill level. And I said, I'm going to take a chance. When they offered me an opportunity, I said, you know what? I'll take it. But Coach Sism, I tell this story is in the book. Coach Sism from Tuskegee Institute College, where I grew up, came to my house and sat on the porch with my mom and me, and he offered me a full scholarship. Say, hey, come to Tuskegee. You're from Tuskegee. You're homeboy. You're homegrown. You probably gonna start this year, Stan. Come on and play. I'm like, Coach, I hate to tell you this, but I think I'm gonna go to Alabama and walk on. He's like, what? Like, really, son? You're gonna turn down this scholarship to go to Alabama to walk on. You're never gonna start there. You're never gonna play. No, he said, you're never gonna play there. That's what he said. Never gonna play there.
Read that in the book. I read that in the book.
like,
You called
like,
them out.
yeah, yeah. And so, no, I didn't really call him out. I really didn't say anything to him. I just said, in my spirit, I said, I'll show you. I didn't say it to him,
Yeah,
but in my mind, I'm thinking, I'll show you. And
yeah,
I took that thought process with me everywhere after that. It's like, if
yeah,
somebody said I couldn't do something, it was always, I'll show you. If you
yeah,
don't think I can do it, I'm going to show you. So I went to Alabama for those reasons. That's how I got there. And when I got there, it was just a lot of that is in the book.
yeah,
What happened
yeah,
when I got
yeah. Because you were playing, I think, behind Jeremiah
there.
Castile,
Jeremiah
right?
Castile,
Yeah,
yes.
and so Jeremiah was on the podcast last season,
Yeah.
so I was like, yeah, he was like big man on
He
campus.
was.
But no, it's interesting when we talk about sports. We always say that sports is so much bigger than what's happening on the field, on the
Hmm.
court, or whatever. That you learn all these life lessons. What are some of those lessons that you think you learned from sports that apply to the peaks and the valleys of living?
Absolutely. 100%. Well, sports is a very, is that, it taught me certain standards. Like, it taught me how to be competitive, sportsmanship, all the basic stuff, sportsmanship, teamwork, how to handle losses, how to move when you win, how to be gracious in your wins and how to show class when you lose, those type of things, how to handle referees. It taught me a lot of those different type of lessons. I think the main thing it taught me was how to be very competitive. It taught me how to prepare to be competitive,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
You just can't want to win. You got to prepare to win.
You
Everybody
don't the hard work happens before the game
before you
even
get on the
starts.
field.
Yeah.
Yes. So I took that mentality into everything I did. And when I went to corporate America, I took it there too. It just changed the score change, or the measurement change from score to dollars, but it
Mm,
was the
yeah.
same. I had to use the same techniques to get where I want
Yes.
to be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you have a certain way of doing things
Hmm.
and the environment changes, but the way that you approach it
The way that I
does not
approach
change.
does not change. And I think the way that I approach, I didn't have this language back then when I was in college. I just recently came up with this language, and I call it the walk on standard, right? I have a standard that I go by,
Mhm.
and it's based on my walk on experience. So that walk on standard goes with me everywhere I go, right? It's a standard that I set for myself, where it actually started on my mother's front porch. When I thought about
Okay.
it, it started there. It's like Coach Sism said, "You never play there," and I'm like, "That's your ceiling you have for me. You think that's your ceiling? That's not my ceiling. That's my
Right.
floor, right?
Okay.
Your ceiling is my floor. No
It's
one
where
is
it's like where you're starting. Yeah.
starting
Yeah.
here. I think I'm going to be there playing. So why are you saying this?" So that has always been my standard in my life. It's like I don't care what I'm in and what I do. Is like my standards is my standard. I'm not gonna. My standards don't. My standards keeps me in a place where it doesn't negotiate with doubt. And I talk about this in my book. So many
Okay.
people have doubt when they go into a new environment, a new system, a new job, going to college. But if you have a standard that you work by and the things that you believe in, when when the pressure really comes, you think you're going to rise to your pressure that you get. You're not going to rise to the pressure. You're going to fall to your standard and your
Mm,
character. And I try to teach people that in my teachings, is that don't worry, don't look at the external validations and approval. You got to have yourself set internally and fix that, and know who you are and what you want and what you do. So when the doubt and the pressure comes, you know what you're going to fall back to, because you're going to fall back to wherever you think. That's how I feel.
I think that's some good advice
Hmm.
for all of us. And speaking of the book, like I said, I've been reading the book. Y'all can see it's a
She
little
got it.
worn, and I've only had it a couple days.
Yeah.
The chapter that I really liked was when you talked about character as a strategy, and you shared a story. I'm not going to give away too much, but you shared a story where you were disappointed
You know,
in a professional outcome that was really unfair, and how you made that decision to lead with character and to respond with character. And we've all had those. We've all
hmm
had those moments where it's like, did they really do this to me? And is this really happening? Like, I see what's happening, but it can't be. And you made that decision to lead with character and use character as a strategy. And I've never thought of character as a strategy before.
yeah,
So, and again, I'm not going to give away too much of what was happening, but in that moment, kind of what was the shift? Because you could have stomped your feet, you could have made a lot of
yes,
noise, but you
yes.
chose to use
You,
character,
you,
to lead with
yeah.
character.
Characters as a strategy in that moment was, I was in a room with people who had already come up to me and said, "You're going to win this tonight. You're the manager of the year. Your team is great. You're going to win it. You're going to win it." We have been winning. We had been leading the areas for 11 months in sales. And I just knew I had won it, but somebody made a decision that I wasn't going to win it, and there was nothing I could really do about it. Right? They
They
made a
changed.
decision.
They changed the goal. They changed
They
the goalposts. They
Yes,
changed the place. They changed
yes,
where you make the touchdown in
yeah,
that moment.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
I just decided that day, and I remember that I had already decided in my mind that no one's, from that porch situation, that no one's ceilings going to be my ceiling. That's not going to be where I start. So that I
Yeah.
just had that feeling like, you might not think that I'm good, but I know that I'm good and what I'm doing is right. And what really solidified my thinking was a guy who came to my room that night and knocked on my door and just told me all the things that I say in the book. And that just solidified to me, you're doing the right thing, Stan.
Mm.
Always lead with your character, no matter what happens to you. Your characters, and people that are listening to me, you're going to have good times and bad times. But guess what stays the same in all that? Your character. Sometimes you're gonna have a lot of money, sometimes you're not gonna have a lot of money.
Right.
Sometimes you're gonna be on
Right.
top. But you should not let your character sway you into one way or the other for those, right? You
Right.
should always be in the middle on that.
Don't let your situation dictate your character. Let your
Exactly.
character be your character.
Your
And that's
character.
and that was really good. I mean, there are lots of nuggets. I mean, again, very vulnerable, sharing your story about your
Hmm.
family, the high points, the low points, and I do love what you say, like, you know, we sometimes in our community, we don't share the
Yeah.
things that have not gone well. And so that means that other people are kind of living in uh, a blind reality of what's going on with other people and thinking, oh, this is only happening to
To
me.
me, it's
And
not.
so I totally appreciate you sharing all that. And we're not going to give anything else away. It's a great book. We're uh, you've got a couple of book signings coming up.
Hmm.
You want to talk about those, and we're gonna post in the podcast
Okay.
the specific information. But you got one tomorrow, and you got one on the 5th.
Yes. Yes, I actually you can go to my social media guys and get this information. Just go to Stan Gay and on Facebook. You can find me there. I have a private Instagram, but it's Jake ATL 96. But if you give me your name, I can always welcome you in there. And I'm also on LinkedIn. So if you want to find me on LinkedIn, Stan Gay at LinkedIn, Stan Gay MBA at LinkedIn. But I will be in Atlanta for my fourth book signing on July 4th from 6 to 9 p.m. at a place called Cigar City Club in Sandy Springs.
Okay.
So I'll be there from 6 to 9. Very nice. It's July 4th. And you're only about 7 or 8 blocks from the fireworks at Lenox Mall. So if you come there, you can still see the fireworks. If you have nothing else to do, bring your family. I'll sign a book for you. I'll sell you a book there. If you already bought a book online, just bring it with you and I'll sign that. And then
Okay.
I'll be in Birmingham Sunday from 6 to 9 at a place called Bodegas. It's also kind of a cigar lounge, and I'll be there from 6 to 9 as well. So
I'm trying
Saturday
to.
and Sunday.
I'm gonna try to catch you on Sunday because I'm headed
You be at
to
home? Okay.
Birmingham in the morning. So I'm gonna
Okay.
try to catch you, and I'll get my book signed, and again, I'm really enjoying it.
Yes.
But we got to talk a little college
Yeah.
football, right? I
Time is
mean, we
flying.
can, we can,
We
we
could
can,
have done it. We could have done an hour on this show. You know
we
that, right?
really could
The
have,
way you and I talk.
yeah, oh yeah, and we will. We will catch up because I know. Not only will I probably see you in Birmingham, but during football season, I know we are
Yes.
sometimes at the same game. So, okay, so football is so different than when you were playing in terms of
Hmm.
college football. You got
Hmm.
NIL, you got transfer portal. You just got a whole lot of things that are different. So, what are your thoughts? Just as I guess now, kind of like as a fan of college football, on the state of college football as it is right now.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, I kind of like the way things are going with college
Okay.
football. Yeah, I kind of like that the guys are making money. I think they should be able to make money to a certain degree for their image and
Yeah.
likeness,
Yeah.
right? So that part I'm okay with. I'm okay with the transfer portal. If you're feeling like you're not getting playing time, then okay, you should be able to go somewhere else and play. I'm not happy with the timelines on those things. I
Mm,
think we should put some sort of guardrails on when you can and can't enter the portal and
hmm
how much money you actually can make. I don't think it's fair that the superstar can make 2 or 3 million and a guy that's playing special teams is not making anything, but he's doing all the practicing, he's getting so we've got to put some sort of guidelines on that part of it. But
yeah.
other than that, I think the guys should make as much money as they can, just like the coaches can make money. So
Oh yeah.
they should be able to move.
I have always been an advocate for paying student athletes,
Hmm.
especially in these big schools where they were generating so much revenue. Um, I have a little issue with how the transfer portal is set up now,
Yeah.
in that it's like one day you're over here,
Yeah.
next day you're over there. So that feels a little bit like it we need to be tweaking
Yeah,
that.
we got to
uh
keep the dates.
and then obviously with NIL, that the SEC is not nearly as competitive as it used to be, and
True,
so
true,
yeah,
true.
I probably got a
I
few
think
sour
I,
grapes.
I think one of the best things that happened to college football though was Indiana winning. I think that
Okay.
yeah, I think it opened people's eyes as to what this NIL situation, this atmosphere really is doing. It's
Hmm.
just allowing people with the most money to buy the older athletes to compete
Mm.
against younger athletes. Because if you think about it, Indiana had a roster that was averaging 24, 26 years old.
No.
And I went to the pros at 22, and
Yeah.
your body as an athlete does not reach its peaks until 25. So you got a
Yeah.
25-year, 26-year-old playing with
Yeah.
past 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
It's not fair. It's just
Yeah.
not fair.
Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
part I think that's gonna start people gonna, Indiana really had a veteran team
They
that should
did.
be, like a 3 year, they would have been 3 years in the pros from their age.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
playing against 18 and 19. That's why guys 18, 19 can't compete with guys that are
Yeah.
25, 26 years old. You can't do it.
That's a really good point. Really good
So
point.
that's the part I think we have to really put some time behind.
And then we're in year 3 at Bama with
Mm-hmm.
Coach DeBoer, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, kind of. I mean, what are you looking forward to in year 3? What do you think?
Um, I like him. I think he's a good coach. I think he's good
Okay.
for Alabama. I really do think he's good for Alabama, right?
Okay.
I'm not sure how, from a recruiting standpoint, how important it is anymore with NIL, because now you just need is money. Now we just need a collective to be able to compete with Texas and Ohio States. The people with the money,
Mhm.
the people with the money are just going to draw people in, right? So I
Yeah.
think he's a good for Alabama. I'm looking for them to have a better running game than we had last year, for
Oh
sure.
yeah. I
I'm
know.
excited about our new quarterback, Keelan
Keelan.
Russell is a beast. Do you know this? I don't know if you knew this, and I think I got this right. How much time? Yes, he is the
Oh,
top.
good.
He's the top rated recruit we've ever had at the University of Alabama in its history.
Is he
The number one recruit out of all the recruits we've ever had. He was a number one player in the country. We've never got a number one player
player, no number one player in the country?
country.
I feel like I read that somewhere when he was being recruited, but it,
Yes,
it is now just because
hitting
he was
you.
sitting behind Simpson last year.
Yes,
So that is wow.
that's
That is that
huge.
that is huge.
Think about all the talent we've had at Alabama from the greats.
No, that's why it's so
Yeah,
so shocking.
it's shocking. It's shocking.
Wow. Wow.
That's shocking to me. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to seeing is how he plays. But I think Max should start this year. He should get the opportunity to start because he
Okay.
came from Washington. So, but he'll get about 5 or 6 games, and if he's not doing well, then we bring
Okay.
Keelan.
So you're saying Austin Mack should probably
Yeah, he
start,
should.
and then Keelan will, if he things don't go well, Keelan may uh, do how
Yes,
Jalen Hurts after that
yes,
first
yes.
game.
Well,
He can't do it.
basically what I'm saying is that from a character standpoint, he's earned the right
Austin,
to
okay,
you see,
yeah,
so I wouldn't want to be in his position. Somebody tell you that you haven't earned the right to be in this room you're in. I
okay,
talk about this a lot in my book with
okay.
drift and all that. So, I would be, hypocritical to say he shouldn't start. Well, no, he's earned the right. He's followed those guys down. He's
That's
been with
true.
them 3 or 4 years. So
That's
he's
true.
earned that right now. If he shouldn't, he doesn't have to stay in that position if he's not doing well producing.
Right,
So he's got to
right.
prepare so he can stay in the position.
Okay,
He does
okay.
that with fine.
Interesting. We at Alabama, we struggle sometimes with our QB competition in the
Hmm.
preseason, and sometimes you had the first game, you don't know who's starting. So hopefully we get it sorted out. I have really enjoyed talking to you. Again, here's the book. Here's the
I'm
book.
over
Y'all,
little. There you go.
yeah, let's cover my face. There
Yes,
you go. Is that better?
that's it. So good. That was
It's
perfect.
they didn't see me coming on the field, in the boardroom, in
In life.
life. I ordered mine from Amazon. Everybody can order theirs from
Yes,
Amazon,
from
I'm
Amazon.
assuming.
Show the
Yeah.
back cover so they'll know it's me on the back.
Oh yeah.
So this is
That
on the back.
Mr. Stan Gay
So
on the back.
you'll
So
get that. And if you have your book and want me to sign it in Atlanta or Birmingham, just come to those spots. Go to my social media. Just look me up on the best way is to look me up on Facebook because it's public and you'll see the
yeah.
information there.
I'm so excited. here's what happens when you come on our podcast. We don't tell you until you've been on there. You are now part of the Mom Knows Ball family. So we're going to be hitting you back up. Next thing you know, it's like, okay, Stan, I need to know what you think about this. So
Got you.
it's a done deal now. We say
Got
it
it.
publicly, so you can't walk away from it. So welcome to the family. So
I'm happy to be here.
I've enjoyed the conversation. We will have a Mom Knows Ball, the Bama edition, where we will do our insights in the upcoming season. My son Crawford is going to co-host that with me. Then my son Jordan is going to co-host our Jacksonville Jaguar edition. So subscribe, like, share, do everything you do with the podcast. And as always, I always ask this question. Stan Gay, do you know ball?
I know ball.
You know ball. You know
Yes.
ball. He knows ball. I know ball. We all know ball. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
Good to see you,
Bye-bye.
Melinda.
Bye,
Thanks for
Steve.
having me. Appreciate it.
All right,
Roll
thank you
Tide.
so
Roll
much.
Tide. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide. Roll Tide.